This logo costs $50 and this one $500,000. And if you think that's insane, you're not alone. So many designers look at this logo and they say, anybody could do this in 5 minutes. What a scam. Wait, 5 minutes? 1, 2, 3. Oh my God, I could actually create this logo in 3 seconds. I can make $500,000 every 3 seconds. Okay, you know that's not true, right? But here's the thing. The people who paid $500,000 for this aren't stupid. They're brilliant because they understand something that most designers don't. You're not just paying for what it looks like, you're paying for what it does. And by the end of this video, you will not only understand why simple logos cost more, but you also know exactly how to charge premium prices for your design work, even if it looks like it only took 3 seconds to make. Let's start with our $50 logo. I went on Fiverr and I found a top-rated designer, 5-star, over 1,000 reviews. Their portfolio is stacked with these beautiful, complex logos, gradient, shadows, detailed illustration, the works. Delivers the logo in 4 days with 3 revisions, including 3 concepts, printable file, including the source file, and all of this goodness for under 50 bucks. Clients happy, designer made their money, everybody wins, right? Now let's look at the $500,000 logo. This was created by Pentagram, arguably the most prestigious design agency in the world, famous for designing the city logo for $1.5 million. Their client for this project, a massive new development in Utah that's not only building houses, they're building an entire city. And the logo is literally just the letter U shaped like the state of Utah. That's it. There's no gradients, there's no shadow, no fancy effect. It's something that you saw me recreate in 3 seconds. So what the hell is going on here? Why would anybody pay 10,000 times more for something that, well, it's not very pretty and it's just so simple? Well, to understand that, you have to look at what Pentagram actually delivered. See, when Pentagram took on this project, they didn't start out by opening up Illustrator and drawing rectangles, right? They started by asking fundamental questions. Firstly, what are we actually calling this, right? What is the name for this? This isn't just another subdivision or a housing development. It's going to be a brand new American city, a place that would eventually appear on maps alongside Salt Lake City or Park City. So they dove deep, and I mean deep. First, they researched the region's Native American heritage, the Utah tribes, where Utah got its name. They explored whether to use indigenous name. Then they studied the Mormon pioneers who settled in the area, the transcontinental railroad that transformed the region. They even researched the fish and the birds that live in the Utah lake. They generated over 100 potential names. Each one they had to research for trademark conflicts, domain availability, cultural sensitivity. It's weeks of work, tons of presentation. And then during the strategy session, somebody mentioned how the developers kept referring to Salt Lake City or Park City as aspiration. And that's when it clicked. New York City, Oklahoma City, Kansas City has its own state name. So Utah City in Utah County, in Utah Lake, in the state of Utah. Seems obvious now, right? But that's the great thing about strategy. It's always looked obvious after somebody figures it out. Now the logo figured the same principle. It's in the shape of the Utah state. It's iconic, it's recognizable. The letter U in Utah City, and also it's a subtle cityscape in the negative space, right? Like little buildings. Now it's so simple, but every element has its meaning. A lot of designers are excited about intricate logos with lots of details, but really what's actually important in a logo is that it's memorable. And it's even more important than being pretty, right? And this shape is very, very simple and very memorable because it has these easily memorable 3 elements in just one symbol, right? The letter U, the Utah state, and a cityscape. Then came a color palette inspired by the Utah Lake at different times of the day, typography system, and the application guidelines, multiple, lockups for different uses. It's a complete visual language for the entire city. Now, a timeline for a project like this is about 4 to 6 months, and it includes hundreds of pages of strategy and guidelines. The Fiverr designer delivered a decoration, but Pentagram delivered a strategic foundation for $1 billion development. Okay, so let me break down what's really happening here, right? There's a value ladder in design, and most designers don't even know it exists. On the first level, it's decoration, right? This is your $50 Fiverr logo. It makes things look nice. It's pretty. It's professional enough, but it's generic. It's forgettable. It could be used for any business. On the second level, there is design, right? This is your typical freelance designers. They solve visual problems. They think about the industry. Maybe they do some mood boards. The logo actually means something, right? And these projects can cost between $1,000 to maybe $5,000. On the third level, there's branding, right? Now we're building brand recognition. This isn't just a logo, it's like a system. It works everywhere from app icons to billboard. This is what agencies do for maybe $10,000 to $50,000 territory. On the fourth level, we have strategy. And this is where Pentagram plays, right? They're not just designing logo, they're designing business value. Think about this. Utah City is a multi-billion-dollar city development. They need to attract investors, resident businesses. The brand isn't just about identifying the city, it's selling the city. And with the right branding helps them sell just 1% faster or at 1% higher prices. That's tens of millions of dollars in value, right? So suddenly $500,000 isn't expensive. It's like a rounding error. So look at another example like MasterCard. Pentagram redesigned their logo in 2016, and the design is even simpler than the design before, right? And the cost, well, let's just say it was very expensive as well. But MasterCard's brand value increased by billions after the rebrand. The logo works better digitally, it's more recognizable, it reproduces cheaply, and this simplicity is worth billion in operational efficiency alone. Here's what most designers miss. Complexity is expensive for clients. Complex logo reproduce poorly. They don't scale. They're harder to remember, right? They cost more to implement. Simplicity isn't lazy, it's strategic, and strategy is what commands premium prices. Paula Scher, who is a design partner in Pentagram, once said that everybody can design a logo, but to get a bunch of executives to put their inner politics aside and agree on a logo, now that's why they're getting paid the big bucks. So here's the exact process that separates a $50 logo from $500,000 brands. And yes, you can use this process too. So phase one is discovery. Now here, you're not asking, what do you want your logo to look like? You're asking, where do you want your business to be in 5 years? You're understanding their competition, their customers, their goals. Phase two is research. This isn't just browsing Pinterest for inspiration. This is competitive analysis, market positioning, customer interviews. You're finding opportunities, not inspiration. Phase three is strategy. Before any design, you're defining the brand personality, the messaging, the positioning. This is where Utah City became a new American city and not just a place to live. Phase four is concept. Notice that this is not just logo options, it's strategic direction, right? Each concept solves the business problem differently. And you're not saying which logo looks better, you're saying which strategy is going to win. Phase five is system design. Now, a logo is maybe 10% of this, right? You're creating a whole toolkit, colors, typography, photography style, tone of voice, everything that the client needs to stay consistent. Phase six is the implementation. You don't just hand over files, you guide out the rollout, right? You train their team, you ensure that the brand actually works in the real world. The Fiverr designer spent 4 days on decoration while Pentagram spent 4 months on strategy. And that's why one of them costs $50,000 and the other $500,000. Now, I know what you're thinking, that's great for Pentagram, but I'm just a single designer. I can't charge these prices. And you're right, you can't, not yet, but you can start moving up this value ladder, right? And it starts by changing how you think about your work, right? So first, stop selling logos and start selling outcomes. Don't say, I'll design you a logo. Says, I'll help you to stand out in a crowded market. Don't compete on price and start competing on value. Don't say my logos cost $500. Says my premium engagement starts at $5,000 because we're building a complete brand foundation. And stop being an order taker and start becoming a strategic partner. Don't ask what colors do you like? Ask who are we trying to become as a company? Because here's the thing, you can't just say these things. You need to actually know how to deliver the strategic value. You need to know the process, the frameworks, the tools, because when a client asks you, why would I pay you $10,000 for something so simple? You better have an answer. And trust me, I'm a designer, isn't it? You need to educate them. You need to show them the iceberg where the logo is just the tip, right? And walk them through the strategy, make them understand that they're not buying art, they're buying business results. And that's a skill that you can learn. Look, here's the reality. Most designers are stuck in a race to the bottom, competing with Fiverr, with 99 Design. Hell, now you're even competing with AI. And if you're selling decoration, you're going to lose every time. You're going to be working nights and weekends, doing endless revision, dealing with clients who don't value your work, charging $500 here, maybe $1,000 here, and barely making rent. And meanwhile, there are designers who are charging $5,000, $10,000, some of them $20,000 for branding projects. And they're not 10 times more talented than you. They just know something that you don't. They have a strategic process. They know how to run a discovery workshop. They know how to present strategy and how to position themselves as consultants and not just pixel pushers, right? They know how to make clients understand the value before they see the design. So you have two options. Either keep doing what you're doing, keep competing on price and hoping that the clients will magically understand your value, or go and learn this process that actually commands this premium pricing. And this is, by the way, exactly why we created the Brand Design Mastery at Flux Academy. Look, and I can keep telling you all of the theory, but what you actually need is a practical step-by-step process. And inside Brand Design Mastery, we teach you this exact strategic branding process that agencies like Pentagram use, but breaking down so that a solo designer like you can actually implement it, including the Flux Academy mentors who are going to give you feedback and help you along the way. And in the next few weeks, we'll also be releasing a bonus module on how to use AI to make this process even faster and yield better results for you as a designer. So you're welcome to check it out below this video. If you want to see a case study of how Rachel, who is a course instructor, delivers high-end branding projects herself, check out the video here, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.